Pack your bags and get ready for a trip to the Time Hotel as Christmas is coming everywhere all at once in Doctor Who's Joy to the World. Unlike Season 1, this year's Christmas special will air on BBC One and iPlayer simultaneously in the UK and be available internationally on Disney Plus from 17:10 GMT. Personally, I'm relieved they decided against the midnight release, at least for Christmas, and gone back to their strategy for the 60th anniversary the majority agreed with. But will this be the status quo moving forward? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why I hope Doctor Who is ditching its midnight release. It was always going to be a divisive decision to break from tradition and release Doctor Who at midnight, 18 hours before its terrestrial broadcast. There'll never be a perfect time for everyone, and some country somewhere will always end up getting the short end of the stick. But splitting the UK fan base, the show's primary audience, into two camps, those who've watched at midnight and those who haven't, wasn't the best move they could have made. For 60 years, it's been a British tradition to sit down on a Saturday evening with family and friends and tune into the newest episode of Doctor Who, knowing everyone else is watching it at the same time, and you can talk about it once the credits roll. It may be considered an antiquated way of doing things in the age of streaming, but that collective experience felt like it was missing from the last season, as everyone was on different wavelengths. When I criticise the midnight release, it's not because I'm a stereotypical Gen Z with a short attention span who can't spend a single second off the internet. Although, can I just say, that's an incredibly reductive argument that isn't considerate of the fact that people sometimes have no choice but to use the internet for work, and they come across spoilers through no fault of their own. I criticise the release because I feel the show has lost that feeling of a collective experience that was still present in the 60th, despite the changing times. Conversations build hype. Hype breeds success, and success leads to renewal. But with Season 1 essentially being released twice in the UK, once at midnight and again in the evening, I think that significantly damaged the show's potential, because it made it feel less like event television and more like it was dumped on a streaming platform for you to watch whenever you felt like it. I strongly disagree when people accuse the UK of gatekeeping Doctor Who just because they want a more suitable airtime. At the end of the day, while it's great to see the show be an international success, as I want everyone to be given the chance to enjoy the Doctor's adventures, you shouldn't ignore the fact that the UK is the show's primary audience. We've supported, funded and promoted Doctor Who, and watched it walk before it could run, and no, I'm not trying to say that makes you superior or more entitled. The point I'm trying to make is, in trying to entice new viewers, there's always the risk of neglecting the ones you have, the ones who've been there for over 60 years. Disney Plus saw the cult following Doctor Who had, compared it to its success in the UK, and decided to try and bring the show into mainstream America. But they could pull out tomorrow. If the BBC couldn't fall back on their UK audience, the foundations of the show's success, that could mean no Doctor Who for anyone, and no one wants that. I'm not going to lie, I can see the pros and cons of releasing Doctor Who at midnight, and sometimes I relish the freedom of being able to choose when and how I watch a show. I always watch Casualty on iPlayer early, but for me, that just doesn't sit right for Doctor Who, as they're two completely different kettles of fish. I'm used to avoiding spoilers and waiting all day to watch Agatha All Along or The Penguin, but because they're from America, I accept it because I was raised as a kid to expect that some countries get things first, especially if they made it themselves. At the moment, I'm having to wait longer for Creature Commandos, so I understand the frustration and desire to release everything everywhere all at once. Ideally, there'd be no such thing as time zones, and we wouldn't have to have this conversation. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. There's no way to make it fair for everyone. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. The 60th used the UK as a starting point, releasing the episode at 18:30, and no one raised an eyelid or asked for it to be changed. Now, Joy to the World has adopted the same strategy, but I'm not sure whether this is a sign Season 2 will do the same. Right now, I'm not getting my hopes up that Joy to the World is anything but an exception to the rule. Christmas is one of the most important times of the year, and everyone brings out all the stops to dominate the market, announcing their TV schedule and the return of old favourites like Doctor Who, Outnumbered and Casualty. The BBC wants to keep us hooked so they can win the ratings war. With presents unwrapped and dinner devoured, people settle down for an evening of TV here in the UK, and it's any channel's goal to keep you watching one show after the other. If you had the choice to watch Joy to the World on iPlayer whenever you wanted, you might not be tempted to watch Wallace and Gromit or Strictly. And, in between programmes, the BBC have the perfect opportunity to promote what's coming in the new year, whether that be new Doctor Who or The Traitors. So why would they willingly give that up? So, will Season 2 keep the midnight release or follow Joy to the World's example? Only time will tell, but I hope it's the latter, for all the reasons I've mentioned in today's video. What do you guys think? Do you agree, or do you like things how they are? Maybe you've got another idea. Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me and the channel. If you'd like to support what I do, I also have a Patreon and Ko-fi page. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye.